Good evening, everyone. Thank you for watching all the previous episodes. If you have done already, if this is the first time, welcome. This is the Top CincoPod at Top CincoPod on X, on TikTok, and on YouTube. So please like, follow, share, subscribe, all of that. That would be much appreciated. Now that now that I've got all of that out of the way, that boring stuff, we're going to get started. Jimmy, would you like to introduce yourself? My boy is on again for another episode. He has been following the show. He's been with me for pretty much all of the episodes. Appreciate his time on the show. And take it away, bro.
Yeah, it has actually been every episode so far, just not pretty much, actually all of them.
Sorry.
That's fine. That's fine.
Apologies.
Yeah, always good to be back, though. Excited to talk about what we've got coming up. Yeah, great to be part of Top Cinco. Great to be part of it. Great to be involved.
One thing that I need to actually mention that he said to me on the last episode, or at the end of the last episode, after we'd finished, I'd been atting his personal socials for you guys to check out when I've been reposting and atting him on stuff. No one gives a shit about his personal. You need to go to the main one, which is his photography page. Some cool stuff on there. Can you give him the app, please, bro?
Yeah, that's at Manzano Media. Yeah, kind of as Imani says, I've got no real interest in growing my personal page. That's just family stuff and, you know, the odd dark joke, but nothing too serious. But the other page, I think there's some really cool stuff on there that people will like. I'm getting better and better at it. And I think if you can sort of see that for yourself. If you scroll back to the beginning and then scroll back to the recent posts, you'll see big levels and improvement. So over the coming months, years, whatever, this will be a page worth following. So appreciate everyone that has, and yeah, keep doing so. Oh, and it's Jimmy Manzano on TikTok. That's actually my highest social media following is on there.
And how are they spelling that? Just real quick, how are they spelling that? Because
So Jimmy JIMMY and then Manzano M for mother ANZANO.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, bro. Let's get it cracking. So we need to talk about the weekend football. We'll start with the first game, which was the lunchtime game, Southampton against Man United.
Yep.
Southampton were at home. It was it wasn't a miserable defeat, but it was a defeat for Southampton nonetheless. One that we kind of all expected, but you never know with Man United and Ten Hag at the wheel. So it was a 3-0 victory. What did you think of the game?
Yeah, I thought it was a good solid win. We needed it. We desperately needed it. But yeah, it was good for me. I wanted a clean sheet, and I did well. Great. Delit obviously making his debut, scoring. Powerful kind of centre back goal. I love to see those kind of goals. Him and Lucha together, looking.
You like it?
I like it. I like the kind of not big and small centre backs, but like when there's a little bit of that, like and they're both quite tenacious. So yeah, pretty pleased overall. Rashford's good for him. I will probably continue to be super critical of him, to be honest, but he needed a goal.
And then Garnacho getting the last goal. Obviously, he was in the media light last week because he liked to post. These footballers, they kind of never learn. It's one of those things. It's just like, you know that there's so many people watching and so many people that are going to be ready to capture what you've just done and then be like, oh my God, look at this, look at this, look at that, look at that. So it was a bit. I feel like it's just silly when these guys get caught for doing that kind of stuff. But what a way to respond.
Well, I think it's silly because I'd be shocked if any of these players are having their social medias ran by them. Like I think
you did mention this
they'll have burners for like their actual that on their phones, if you know what I mean. They'll have burner accounts or like no face accounts, something like that they actually speak to their.
So if they're getting caught doing,
so what I think is it could be say someone. Let's say his
press related.
Let's say it could be a PR team member has forgotten that they're logged into his account. I do this shit all the time. I've got loads of different accounts on mine because for the other businesses and stuff. And I forget sometimes. Well, usually I can tell by some of the posts. I'm like, oh, I'm in like by who we're following and stuff like that. But I don't always know in the moment. So I think someone's either stayed in the wrong account and then liked something that they agree with, like they personally, or maybe it's his missus. You get that sometimes. They run the or maybe do you know what I mean one of them, someone like in the family is running the socials. Maybe he didn't want to pay a PR team, but he'll pay someone. That's super common. Yeah, super common. That makes sense. I don't think anyone that's playing first team for Man United is running their social, and I think that's why it gets like the manager can't come out and say, "Oh, it's not actually him, by the way." So like, I'm not bothered because then it blows that whole bubble. So what they always say is it's been dealt with internally. It's all good. Always, that's always their response.
That's so true.
And then nothing happens. And I think that's it. You just go, "Oh, look, sorry about that, dude," but it wasn't me. I've told the person who did it, like, be careful. That's it. End of conversation. Like that.
Do you think Garnacho is going to have a big season for you guys? He did very well last season.
He is so good. Like he's one of the best players I've seen come through our academy in a long time. Him and Kobe just seem like they seem like.
Are you not putting McSauce in there?
I mean, still a very good graduate. I mean, anyone that played that amount of games for us will be considered a success. In terms of but I'm talking about world-class players. Like, and I'm not saying they are now, but
you feel they both have the ability to go world-class, is what you're saying.
100%. Okay. I think both of them will. I think both of them will become world-class as well. I think sounds terrible, but I think Garnacho more so than Kobe. I wonder, obviously, so much of it's attitude when you're that gifted as well, how much work you're going to put in. Yeah. Garnacho has a little bit of a sort of fuckboy kind of element to him. So like, I do worry that, my biggest worry isn't even how dedicated he'll be. It'll be in 3 years. He's like, fuck it, I'm off to Real Madrid. See you later. That worries me more than Kobe. Kobe's Madrid, Kobe's like, do you know what I mean? A big, another huge team. But we'll see if we in the next few years if we can get back to winning and being the successful team we are, then obviously that's massively attractive. I'd get it if I became a world-class player and I was at Man United and Real Madrid or Barcelona or whatever came in for me. I'd be thinking about it.
You'd entertain the conversation
for sure. It's not like Kobe's like a local lad, so it's different for him. Man United playing for Man United will be. I'm not saying Garnacho doesn't care. Yeah, I just think it's a different thing.
It's a different kettle of fish.
Manchester United will mean something way more.
Your home club, it's close to home. It's that's where you've kind of grown up.
Yeah. And I wouldn't blame Garnacho for in 5 years going somewhere else. Of course I would. Even if we were super successful, I wouldn't blame him. Who wants to stay in Manchester their whole life?
Wow. Well, the other Argentine that you had, Di Maria, didn't. So that's
I know.
Pretty clear.
I know. I tried playing a burglary prank on him, and it didn't go down well. And he ended up getting really upset.
Dickhead.
Sorry about that,
everyone. The other games, before we go on to, we'll finish on the Liverpool one because that's the second biggest one that we want to talk about from Saturday. The other game that I want to go on to, the next one was Brighton against Ipswich. That was 0-0, board draw. I guess there's not really much to say about that. I did expect Brighton to maybe get something from the game, if I'm being honest.
Ipswich I think if you're Ipswich, you take that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Especially the way Brighton have been rolling. Yeah, that's probably a better result. Well, it is a better result for Ipswich than it is Brighton.
Yeah.
So
at
least we can agree on that for sure.
Definitely.
What about Crystal Palace against Leicester? Palace were at home. Vardy scored again.
Yeah. Did you see the goal as well?
Do you know what? I actually didn't see the goal.
So is it because is it Mark Gay or
Mark Gay?
Mark Gay.
Yeah.
Vardy puts on the burners against him, and outpaces him and then scores, and you're like, that's like a 60. We were saying like £60 million young defender just getting. I'm not like I would like. I'm not well. I think he should have done better, but he doesn't do. It's not like he really fucks up either. It's just it's a testament to Jamie Vardy, not necessarily
when you're on the Red Bull, it does mad stuff,
Red Bull and cigarettes, mate. I tell you what, I'm thinking about playing again in Canada after we watch a Canadian Premier League match. I was like, I can play Sunday League here for sure. I'll be able to play Sunday or Saturdays here, and I'll look like fucking Ronaldo out there,
mate. You've got to at least be doing a Sunday there. Like,
For sure. I don't even know how it works here. If it's Saturday, I don't even think they've got the infrastructure for 2 days of football. I think it'll be put one day, whatever day it is. Right? I think it'll be one day.
Rude.
Might even be like Tuesdays. Might be like Tuesday mornings. I don't know. But I'm definitely going to give it a go. And yeah, I'm going to start smoking again. I'm going to start smoking again before the games. I'm going to have a cigarette and a Red Bull.
Don't do that.
I'm going to do it.
We're not promoting cigarettes here. We're not doing that. We're not promoting.
I'm not promoting cigarettes at all. I'm not promoting cigarettes, but
all right, we don't want you smoking.
All right, I'll take steroids, whatever it is.
Mateta got 2 goals in the game as well. He's trying to pick up where he left off last season.
Yeah,
finished very strongly, and then he even had a very good Olympics for France. Mm-hmm. So in terms of numbers, I'm going to ask you, what do you think he's going to hit this season?
I think if he gets to 15, that's a pretty good return for a Crystal Palace player.
Yeah.
Because you imagine, 15 goals and then...
Listen, he's got 13 more goals to get, and there's still another, 34 games to go.
Yeah.
I think he's capable of doing that in that Palace team.
For sure.
Like, I don't want to say light work because it's never light work in the Premier League for a striker, but I feel like he should now be like, okay, I need to be hitting that minimum. Mm-hmm. That's what I'd be looking at. Mavididi, I'll give him a shout out as well. He was great for Leicester in the Championship. He's getting his first Premier League goal for Leicester, so that was good to see. But that's again another one that's a better result for Leicester than it is for Palace.
Yeah.
The other game was the London derby, Fulham against West Ham. Good friend of mine actually went to the game. Surprised to see that he actually he's been to a few Fulham games now. Do you remember him from school? Good old Jamel boy.
Why did he go to that game?
I think he knows someone that gets or can get him tickets for Fulham. So, why not go watch the old Arsenal boys there?
Yeah.
And it was an old Arsenal boy that got the assist for Raul Jimenez. Good to see him scoring again. Do you remember when he was like shit hot for Wolves? Do you reckon he can get back to that?
He hasn't since that head injury, isn't it? He's never really quite come back as a player, which is always kind of sad because you wonder if it is just a lack of form or if there is something deeper affected with him. I don't know, but because up until that injury, he was serious. He was a good striker and like a problem. You didn't look forward to playing him. Yeah, and then but just hasn't found it yet. I hope so. I'm a big.
You like the Mexicans, boy?
I like my Mexicans, brother. So so I'm always rooting for you, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm being honest. It's been a while now. It's been a while with him not being informed.
How about another striker in that game, Danny Ings with the equaliser, 95th minute. The forgotten about man,
that's exactly what I was about to say. I forgot he was at West Ham. When I saw him come up, I was like, "Fucking hell!" I was like, I forgot about you." But fair play to him as well. Order. Yeah,
this is why strikers they can go missing for a while, and then they score a last minute goal, and then it gives them a little bit of confidence they need, and they can just kick start from there. That's one position that you've just got to love about football. And there's so many strikers that have done that, or it takes like a couple of good games, a bit of confidence, and then they just go on a run. It's mad.
This is going to be a bit. But do you remember Adam Lafondra?
Oh,
and that run he went on from the he won Player of the Month, and every appearance he made in that month came off the bench.
He was a problem.
He scored. He just scored. He scored like 9 games in a row, 10 games in a row. It wasn't the record, obviously, but it was a ridiculous amount of games. Like he was ridiculous. It was crazy.
Do you remember? There was a guy that I used to play against called Abdullah. I don't know if you remember
Abdullah Baggy.
Yeah.
Abdullah.
So I remember asking him. This was many years ago now, but I asked him who the best footballer was that he's played with, and he said back then it was Adam Lafondra.
Wow.
And I was just like, whoa, because he had at his young age and throughout his young professional career as well, he played with and against some great players, and he said that Adam Lafondra was the best. And I was like, whoa, that's crazy. But he was
Abdullah. He was like this. He won't know who I am at all. But I only saw him. I'm pretty sure I played against him in the game as well. And he was the best player I'd ever seen. Like
Oh
at
boy,
that level, I was like
boy
him and
wonder for my age.
another. Do you remember? I don't know. This is so niche, but do you remember Carl Self?
Oh, what a player!
Bro, he won't even fucking
Donny's-
know who I am, but I
Donny's
remember
left
his
foot
name.
Donny's left foot
As soon
was
as he
a
got in your
wand.
half, it was a problem. It was generally a problem. Like he could just, it felt like he just decided where the ball went perfectly every time. Like he just could find top bins constantly.
Mate, this
He was
guy's
a
left
problem,
foot
that guy.
was a wand. Like my Sunday team played against him a
He
lot
was
of
at
the
Thatcham,
time.
wasn't he? He was at Thatcham.
Yeah, Thatcham. I think he went to Newbury. He was at Thatcham and Newbury.
Yeah.
All rivalry, by the way. That's controversial. But he did bits at both. But he was a great player. He was a great player.
He was another one. The two where I was like, that for me, even then I was like, I'm not that I had necessarily deep ambitions of becoming a player, but I was like, oh, okay, yeah, like I'll never play a pro because I'm playing against these guys. Like I'm playing against them. This is the levels they are above me. What the fuck are the levels that they weren't good enough to play at? Like,
100.
Do you know what I mean?
You always like compare yourself and not always doubt, but you question when it comes to other players that you come up against and you're like, fuck me, he was good.
I was always okay with it. It was never one of them. I mean, obviously, if fucking someone had offered me a contract, of course I would have said yeah. But I was always aware of what I was. And then as I became older, I became like such a trash talker on the pitch. That was my game. Is I'm gonna fucking wind you up as much as I possibly can.
No,
yeah.
I hated players.
Yeah. And it worked. Yeah, honestly, it worked so well. It would take more often than not. The best player would just freak out after a while.
Let's run through these last few results.
Yeah.
We had Liverpool, big upset.
Yeah.
Against Forest. Forest, that's a massive win for them. Hudson, did you see his goal? He wrapped that into the corner, mate.
Yeah, mate. I'm rooting for him. I'd like to see him
keep going and doing what he was doing. Well, last season he did very well for Forest.
Yeah.
And this is the Hudson-Odoi that I think people were hoping that Chelsea were going to produce because he was a big name, got that big contract early, was balling out early as well, and didn't really get it going there.
Yeah.
So hopefully at the City Ground, he's gonna be playing week in, week out anyway. That's the kind of thing that a winger like him needs. But definitely, great finish, great goal. Rolling on to the City Brentford game. They had a little early scare until Haaland was just like 19 minutes in. Yeah, do you know what? Let me just do what I do, and then he scored again. We don't even really need to talk about them too much. They're just City just being City. It's like, okay, well, who's going to stop them? Brentford usually.
I think the courts. Well, what I'm hearing is going to be the courts to stop them. What I'm hearing early on.
That's not coming in until 2025. We'll wait and see what happens. I'm not really holding my breath on any of that shit.
You should be. You should be holding your breath because for Arsenal, it could mean you win a back-to-back until they get themselves sorted again.
Do you know what? Yeah, fantastic in terms of the records, but I'm not going to feel that. I'm not really going to feel that.
Well, you wouldn't. Would you not feel excited if let's say, okay, this is a good hypothetical. So City get relegated next season, okay? Let's say that. Just put them there for next year. So they're in the Championship, okay? Yeah. You're telling me if Arsenal go on and win the league, you wouldn't feel it like
if that happens and they get relegated, then that's fine. I'm talking about if they just like gift it to us. They're like, oh yeah, this happened, that happened.
Oh, like the retrospective ones.
Yeah, now you just get gifted. Oh,
no, I agree with that. No, that would be shit. That would be shit.
Yeah,
but I mean, like, you can't go back and celebrate and like start going. We won like 2 years in a row. Yeah, I agree.
No, that would be whack. What is the last? Oh, 2 more games. Aston Villa against Everton. That was a great game, actually.
It was.
Fuck me. John Duran has scored again, coming off the bench. Dominic Calvert-Lewin scoring. I think that was. I don't want to say it wasn't a surprise actually, but is he? He's out of contract, so is he playing for a move? What's going on there? Dwight McNeil, just he's quite consistent for Everton. This guy, and I feel like I don't want to get onto him. That's his level. He's a consistent performer for them. I don't know whether he'd do it if he was at like a higher club, but I do rate what he's doing there. Good to see Ollie Watkins as well. Finally getting on the score sheet this season. Did you see the interview after the game? And he was talking about how he's like not really fully fit. Have you seen like a player come out and say that? He was like, he's not at 100%.
That's unique. Well, it's unique a player admitting that, but it's also kind of unique in this modern day of football with all the sports science, the physios that they would even allow you to like go on the field. Especially Aston Villa have not got crazy depth, but they've got depth to miss him for a game.
Well,
or whatever.
John keeps coming on for him. He came on. I think he came on again tonight. Obviously, it's Champions League night for Villa. Congratulations to them because I believe that they did do the job. It was 3-0 against Young Boys. Tielemans,
Fantastic
Ramsey,
result.
and Onana.
Shout out Villa. That is an unreal result.
Away from home, Young Boys. I know people say Young Boys, but like those are the kind of clubs that you go to. You take them for granted, and then you end up getting beat, or you're not set up right.
It's their first Champions League, for Christ's sake, for Villa. Like just go and first perhaps the European Cup days they've been in it, but the Champions League they've never been in it. Yeah. And I think just go and get a win. Give those fans that have travelled to whatever fucking country Young Boys is in. Switzerland. Okay.
Yeah, Switzerland.
Yeah. Great. Some cheese. Good for them. Good for them.
The last game from Saturday, we'll get through that, is Chelsea against Bournemouth. It was, it wasn't fantastic, but Chelsea with their squad depth showing that they've got players that can come on and win the game for them in Nkunku.
Yeah, it's still kind of weird to me. Well, again, I don't know what his physical situation is. Weird to me that he's not starting like every game for them because he seems to be their best player. So that seems unusual, but I guess they're still just figuring stuff out.
And did you see who got the assist?
Let me have a look. Oh, Jaden. Yeah, I did already know that. Yeah. Hilarious. No, I forget. I forget getting an assist changes your whole life. I forget that. No, I forgot that.
He's been watching the pod and he's like, you know what? This Jimmy Manzano fucking talking shit on my name. Yeah. Let me show him what I can do. Like, and that was the first step of many, I reckon, for Chelsea. So,
we'll see. I think it'll be the first of many times I get to talk shit about you, Jaden. So let's see. Let's see how many times I get to talk shit versus how many goals you score. Let's see how that tally works out.
Yeah, let's do that. Super Sunday. On to the next topic. We'll save the North London derby. We'll go on to the Wolverhampton against Newcastle game first.
Yeah.
Newcastle, I don't want to say they're struggling, but they don't seem like they're at their best as of yet.
Well, I completely agree with that, and I actually had to look where they were in the table today because I was like, they don't seem like they're at the races just yet.
Yeah,
so I was like, where are they sitting? And I looked, and they're fourth. They're third. Sorry, they're third in the league after 4 games, and I was like, wow. It's just they're not playing well.
Yeah,
they're just not playing well. But it's a results business at the end of the day. If this is how they are when it's going shit, they could be pretty serious when they find their form. So, I was shocked by that myself because it kind of feels I mean, they lost. Did they draw the opening game or something like that or whatever? And they just haven't looked great.
Yeah,
but they're getting the results. They beat Tottenham, didn't they? They drew with Bournemouth.
That was a shock. I don't know how they managed to do that. If I'm being clear, I watched the game. That was crazy.
Yeah, so they beat Southampton 1-0, which again, okay, is a win, but it's not against a team that's pretty certainly going to go down.
Not convincing with the attacking force that they have.
Then you draw with Bournemouth.
Yeah,
pretty poor result for them. Then they draw with Forest in the cup, but win on penalties.
Yeah.
Then they beat Tottenham, which is crazy.
Yeah.
and then they just beat Wolves. So
this is a team that had Champions League and they have aspirations of obviously getting there again. Obviously they've grinded out the results because they are where they are, but I'm just looking at the performances, it just doesn't look good. But Harvey Barnes looks good. I'll give him that. Like,
yeah,
I've always been a Sly fan of his, and it's good that he's like now back from injury, and like him and Gordon on the wings. It's frightening. It's very dynamic, very attacking, and it looks good.
Yeah,
for them anyway going forward. But I think that we still haven't seen the best of them, and I feel like there's more from Newcastle. And if there is, it just makes the Premier League more exciting.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm just, and Wolves really poor start to the season's only continuing as well. To be fair, they're struggling too.
Poor Gary, man. Poor Gary.
We'll see what happens.
He's had to, well, he had to sell a couple of stars, Max Kilman and Pedro Neto.
True.
I mean, I don't really know where the reinvestment went, unless they have finances that they need to stay on top of.
Yeah.
But it could be detrimental to them. We'll see. But I didn't have them. None of us had them down on our list to go down. So
yeah,
this is the joy of football. There's so many games to go. So we will see. Talking of games to go, Arsenal ticked off another North London derby win against the boys, Spurs. Fucking great result. It's always a great result when you beat your rivals, especially when you beat them at home at their gaff. That's massive for them. That header from Gabriel, absolute bullet.
Yeah,
absolute bullet. Not your usual. Well, not I say usual, but like the classic North London derby where full of goals and stuff. But what did we say? I think we both said score draw.
Yeah,
and I think I was expecting more from Spurs, like a little bit more from Spurs.
Yeah, well, it's that they aren't playing badly. It's kind of the opposite of Newcastle's situation where they're actually playing like good football, but they're just not getting any results at all. And it's I don't know. It's kind of I couldn't necessarily tell you what the problem is because they're defensively not. You wouldn't say they're shit defensively at all.
No.
Like
on paper, that is on paper.
On paper, yeah, on paper.
Like Kieran was saying, it's on the last episode. I think he opened our eyes to quite a few things about Spurs that you don't always realise when you're watching. So
yeah, no, but on the more positive for Arsenal, that was a huge win. A huge win. You guys have had a couple of tough games, like Villa and Tottenham aren't easy games to have in the first 4 games for sure. So you guys have done well. Yeah.
If you want to be champions, those are the games you have to win. Doesn't matter when they come up. Like people say, oh, you've had this game, you've had that, and then now we've got Champions League Thursday, and then you've got City away on Sunday.
Yeah.
All right.
Exactly.
All right. So what? If you want to be the best, you go and beat the best. Like they're all in the same position. That's the thing with a lot of those. I mean, maybe the day turnover or something like that, yeah, can be a big difference. But you guys are all big boy professionals. You have to deal with it, and at some point, they're all going to have this similar situation in terms of turnovers, in terms of amount of games they're playing. So the best will deal with it, and there'll be no excuses.
Yeah, agreed. No,
Do you know what I mean?
You are right for sure.
So as Mikel would say, let's fucking go. Let's fucking go.
Yeah.
We're going to go on to the next topic. So I chose this one for us this week. Best 11 out of contract. Okay. So
this is the group of players that are going to be out of contract at the end of this season.
End of the 2025 season. It's technically end of this football season yet, but next year, so 2025.
So it's possible then that some of these players aren't even actually available by the end of it.
So, by the end of the season, some of these players might be able to secure deals with their current clubs, or they might. I think when it comes to January, they can start speaking to European clubs. Some of them. So, yeah.
Sorry,
let's go with yours first.
Just a little stop here. So Bayern Munich are 3-0 up. The Champions League's live right now as we're recording
go
this.
on.
Bayern Munich were 3-0 up. It's now 3-2 against Dynamo Zagreb.
That's jokes.
It'll be so funny if Company loses his first Champions League game.
How about Liverpool? We'll talk about Liverpool Milan quickly because that's obviously a big game as well. Everyone thinks about when they played each other in the Champions League. Pulisic put them 1-0 up after 3 minutes, mate.
Yeah, I know.
Kanate and Van Dijk, centre-backs, with the reply for Liverpool. So they're 2-1 up away now. It's only 48 minutes gone, so we'll watch this space while we're still doing this and see what the scores be. And then Real Madrid just doing Real Madrid things. And Mbappe.
Yeah, Mbappe
Go on,
scoring for them.
He said he's been so excited for nights like this at Real Madrid. Yeah. One of the reasons why he joined. So,
and then obviously the biggest game of the night, Manchester United versus Barnsley. That's currently 4-0. Rashford.
Give me the goal scorers, please.
Rashford, Anthony with a penalty, which is hilarious. He scored by a penalty just to end the drought, basically. and then Garnacho scored twice. So
your boy. Oh, we were
my boy.
literally. That's so funny that you were like literally bigging him up earlier. Now
Yeah.
it's just fair play, Alejandro. Top 11 out of contract 2015. Jimmy, give it to me.
All right. So how should we do? Should we go like position, or just read off the whole 11?
Just no. Go through like goalkeeper, defense, midfield, attack. I think do it like that.
Okay. So goalkeeper, I'm going to go is kind of a personal favourite for mine, but David De Gea. He's only got a 1 year deal.
I did see that he was. Yeah, I did see him on the list.
So he's on there. So he'd be my goalie. Always back him, and he's been doing well for Fiorentina so far. So considering they didn't pay anything for him,
conceded a few in his first opening.
No, but like not conceding's not. He's also, if you look how many shots he's saved, he's always going to concede a little bit. He's not the best goalie in the world by any means, but for Fiorentina,
not right now.
Yeah, Fiorentina, they'll do all right. So then left back, my Canadian boy, Alphonso Davies.
Yeah.
He's from Edmonton as well, which is just down the road from
Is he actually from Edmonton? No.
Edmonton boy. Yeah, he's an Edmonton boy.
Yeah, fair play, man.
Yeah. So
That's
which is annoying. Straight away I'm like, oh man, I'm not even the second best baller for fucking in this city. Like, this is bullshit. They don't even like you over here.
Get out of here, man. Get out of here.
Anyway, centre back by Leverkusen's Jonathan Tah. Don't know a lot about him, but with all the bits I sort of did see the odd games of Bayer Leverkusen last season, he looked good, to be fair. So I wouldn't be shocked if he ends up staying at Bayer Leverkusen, because they're doing pretty cool things. Yeah. The other centre back, Virgil van Dijk. How could you not include him in in my opinion? Right back, another Liverpool player, Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Yeah.
Going into the midfield, I have Kimmich. Crazy that he's going out of contract as well.
Yeah, it is.
Angel or Angel Gomez at Lille, and then Kevin De Bruyne in the attacking mid. Then left wing Son.
Yeah.
Right wing Salah.
Yeah.
And then striker Dybala. I went for
Dybala. Okay. This is crazy because I was listening to you read out your team, and I think we've got like 3 players that are different. Which is I
thought it'd be 2. I thought it'd be 2. Yeah.
There's just for those who don't know, we both went on Transfermarkt. I told Jimmy to go on there, but I think he might already go on there. Football fans just know that's one of the best places if you want to get your stats. You want to talk your football shit. We went to there's a tab on there that shows you contracts finishing. Great point. Let's just go and do this. There's a lot of players. There is a lot of players, and even though we're going to have quite a few that are the same, there might be other people that might go on there and have a look on Transfermarkt and see other people that are out of contract at the end of next year that they might think are better. But this is the team that I went for, and in goal it was Manuel Neuer. So I did see David De Gea on there. I appreciate that, but I did go with Manuel. He's just an OG, isn't he?
It's just because of his age was the reason I didn't go for him. He's like 38. But he's still doing. He was my second choice. Yeah,
that's the thing. Like I did, it kind of was between the two. There was a couple of other keepers on there, but I don't want to pick players that I really don't know, because I'm not one of those guys that will just go off a player fully because of like the value. Because on Transfermarkt it tells you the value of the player as well. That means like they're one of the best sites, like in terms of their stats and all that kind of stuff. But I'm not stat padding like that for a position about a player that I don't know. In defence, I've got Alphonso Davies at left back. So same, I think it's just a no-brainer. Trent at right back, no-brainer. Mm-hmm. And then centre backs again, Jonathan Tah and Virgil van Dijk.
Okay, great. So 4 out of 5 on the
solid,
first 5 players. Not bad.
That's a solid, like, I feel like that is a solid back line, if I'm being completely
Same. Like, well, that's a good defense for sure.
The only thing, okay, you might say your 2 fullbacks might not respect their defensive roles as well as they should do. But going forward, they're probably going to get you goals. And you've got Jonathan Tah and Virgil van Dijk at the back. So that's pretty fucking solid. In midfield, we have got exactly the same. So I'm just going to, Kevin De Bruyne, Angel Gomez and Kimmich. There were, again, like I said, a few options in there, but those 3 are the 3 that stick out in terms of if you just watch. And the 3 of them, I feel like could be that could be wavy together. Like
I completely agree. When I said that is
man.
such a good midfield.
Like
Those three.
It's really not bad at all.
Yeah.
And then up top, again, we've pretty much gone similar. But what I did was I went with Son on the left, Salah on the right.
Okay.
And I've gone for Neymar down the middle. Now, if Neymar and Son want to do a little switchy, then they can. But the reason I've chucked Neymar in there because Neymar's just Neymar. I know we haven't really seen him in the Saudi league, but I still feel like he's still got a little bit to offer, man. And he's just Neymar. He's fucking wavy. So,
but do you think he gives a shit ananymore? That's why I didn't go because I just don't feel it from him anymore. My mind,
but I'm just thinking about the Neymar that it was like when I used to be obsessed with Ronaldinho, and I was obsessed with Barcelona, Ronaldinho, and then people were like, oh yeah, then he goes to AC Milan, then he started dropping down, and he was just partying more, doing more nonsense, but I was just in love with that version of Ronaldinho. It's just the same with
I
Neymar.
agree.
You're just in love with that version.
Yeah.
And you just feel like.
And listen, if I'm on YouTube and like a Neymar compilation comes up, like from the good old days, I'm watching that.
How good is a Neymar compilation, for God's sake? It's fucking wavy.
It's crazy. No, but it actually upsets me a bit there. There isn't really right now. Like Vinicius is probably the closest. Maybe it becomes Endrick, but like that saucy Brazilian that's just doing.
Oh, Vinny all day long, mate. I love watching him.
I know what you mean, but he's not the same as those two. It's not the same as a Neymar and Ronaldinho.
You're not gonna get all the tricks in that, but I just love how direct he is, mate.
I like him. I love his strong actually. I like him a lot. But
it's brilliant to see, man.
Yeah,
and he's dealt with racism heavy and come through and smashed his team. But
that's true as well.
That might be for another day where we talk
the racism special that we do.
Racism special, yeah. We need a couple hours for that one.
Yeah.
The last thing that I want to speak about before we go on to our last point / endgame, as we always do, is what is. Obviously, with the Champions League returning, we've spoken about it in this episode. With the Champions League returning, what is your favourite competition in football?
So, I'll have to see how this Champions League format plays out. I love the old Champions League format. Yeah, I did really enjoy it. So I'll see. Maybe I don't think so. To be honest, with this new format, that it will make me love it more. But my favourite still is the FA Cup. I love the FA Cup. I think it's a great trophy to win. I love I don't know. I just like the crazy third round draws you get where it's some like 10 pots down.
Even just the qualifying rounds. I mean, I'm obviously going to tell you what my favorite competition is, but having been like someone that's played in the FA Cup as well, I'm playing in qualifying. I'm not saying I'm a big player here, by the way, before anyone tries to get on to me, but like I've played in the FA Cup. I can say I've played in the FA Cup. I can say I've played in the FA Youth Cup. So as someone that's 32 years old doing a podcast sat here with you right now to say that I've played in that competition, it is pretty sick. And the fact that the FA Cup gives you that chance to do that, because you don't even have to be in an academy in a team that's like fucking absolute levels. That's the thing about the FA Cup. That's the beauty of it. But
it is, and you get, like I say, every year you kind of get a pretty special draw. There's always a story. If at least not every year, every 2 years, guaranteed someone will have a sick story to tell from that.
Yeah,
and it changes. Like, you know, when a really poor, like, you know, maybe like borderline semi-pro or super low down, they get a game against a Premier League team, and what it does for like that club and all the stuff, it's beautiful, and shocks do happen. Like, I mean, Christ, even in the final last year, I know it wasn't a shock in the same way, but people weren't expecting United to beat City at all.
How about even the Coventry game? Like the fact that like Coventry, ran so close as well. That was
exactly like that. That's another great example.
Since we've been watching the FA Cup, there's been some crazy games, some crazy scores. Like even that year where Wigan won it. Maybe they beat City. Like that was mad. Like Arsenal nearly had custard on their face against Hull. Luckily, Santi was there to save us. But there's just so many games that
do you remember the Liverpool West Ham final Where it's 3-3. Gerrard in the last minute. What a fucking game that was.
What a I remember when Michael Owen broke Arsenal's hearts with his
I remember that game as well.
He's a little bastard, bro. He's a little bastard. But again,
one thing I would do is I would remove I love the League Cup as well, to be fair, but I would actually get rid of it. I think it makes the FA Cup way more valuable.
So would you all right? So how about get rid of the League Cup, but then bring back a replay for the FA Cup? What do you say about that?
Yeah, I could do that, and you start the FA Cup a bit sooner.
Okay.
So the third round, should I say, a bit sooner? So maybe that starts in December. So that because I do think there can be, when you have the replays, it's just a congestion of games, especially now when there's just. I do feel for players just being constantly asked to play more and more games. When you literally
that's
think they get
something that we need to touch on, because I think Rodri was talking about it today as well. But again, I think maybe we can talk about that next week, because it is still going to be a hot topic. There's a lot of games this week as well. You know, we got Champions League Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for the first time ever, which is fucking mental. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how we like it. There might be some relationships that will be on the rocks, but you know, this is Champions League football.
Yeah, that's rough though. Like trying to explain to you, Mrs. I'm going to have to watch football back-to-back days is a tough conversation. Like, especially for me, it's not too big of a deal because I can wake up in the morning and just watch it, and everyone's out the house anyway. But in the UK, trying to be like that very limited free time you have after work is now going to be eaten up by football back-to-back days, and then again on the weekend. it's then trying to say 3 days. I don't think that's going to work for viewership or really gain anything.
Trust me.
So yeah.
Brilliant. Well, we're going to go on to the last thing of the day, which is usually the Jimmy game or Jimmy question. So what do you have for us today, bro?
So this week is going to be, so if you could change or remove any rule in football currently, what would it be? Now, I'll give you mine to start off with.
Let's go with yours.
I always have a bit more time. So mine's two options to my rule change, okay?
Okay.
And it's what you think's best. So I would either remove extra time from cup games, and it just always goes straight to penalties. At the end of the 90 plus, because now it's like, because they actually include the actual stoppage time, some games go on for like 10 minutes extra already. So I think it would create more excitement for that final 10-15 minutes if you knew penalties was remaining for you just after. How often does a team win in extra time? Very rarely. It seems very rare it happens. It's just a really half an hour.
Love going to pens,
it's really boring football a lot of the time for half an hour because they're knackered as well. So that would be, or this is a little bit more controversial. Okay. All penalties are sudden death from the first penalty. So there isn't 5. There isn't 5. It's if you score and the other opponent misses, that's it already. It's already over after the first one. I think then it will stop all of this bullshit of like, let's put the player who wants the big celebration fourth or whatever. It'll be, you put your best penalty taker up every single time. And like it eliminates that kind of nonsense, that woke nonsense of letting Ronaldo go last because he wants to have the cameras on him or some fucking bullshit. As if I don't know, whatever. I hate it. I always hate it when the best player isn't taking the penalty first. It's like, oh, send him up, and then if he misses, at least we've got 4 more or whatever. It's like no. So that they're my two. All penalties are sudden death.
Okay. Mine is a bit wild actually, because football is just turning into entertainment and people just want to watch entertaining games. How about when you are fouled? So either a free kick or a penalty, depending on like whereabouts it is. So let's just say a penalty, you're fouled in the box. The person gets fouled has to take the penalty. Free kicks, again, the person that gets fouled has to take the free kick. If it depends on, I guess, whereabouts. If it's in their own half, it gets defenders. But if it's in like the opposition half or anywhere in a dangerous position, the person that gets fouled has to take it. Like
You could
let's
sort of
see
say
what
then,
you're
like
gonna do, guys.
the final third
Final third, yeah.
of the pitch is
And I
if you
just-
get fouled there, you have to take it.
I
I
just
tell
thought
you
that'd be
what,
interesting. Imagine players. Some players will be like, "All right, cool, we'll leave him to it. He ain't gonna do nothing from there." Like,
yeah, but
let him
also,
let him have a little dribble.
I tell you what, diving will get reduced massively because if a player's like, if I go down, I've got to fucking take this. Like they'll just rather stay on their feet because they'd see a bigger
because it could be
opportunity
embarrassing
there.
for them.
Yeah, for sure. Well, how many good like quality free kick
We
takers are
don't
there in each
see
team?
free
One or two?
kicks getting banged in anymore, man. The day of
No.
like free kick set piece.
And it was
takers
great.
is
That
so
was I
weird.
like that rule because it would be so
fucking
funny
mad.
watching like a centre back try and take a free
Yo,
kick
But then
or
the centre back
penalty.
would shock you. Remember Alex? For Chelsea,
Alex,
this guy
like
was a beast.
David Luiz as well. He could fucking hit a free kick.
Luis could hit a ball, yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
but Alex was crazy. I remember him. Fucking hell.
I'd have to say he's probably up there with the best. When you think about centre backs that were hitting free kicks, there's not really many that come to mind.
Ronald Koeman
you said,
is an old school
Apparently he
shout,
was
but
serious.
bro,
we
he
didn't
was
really-
serious.
I didn't really watch him, but apparently he was
Yeah,
serious.
I've seen YouTube highlights. It's crazy how many goals he's.
Yeah.
If you go look after the show, go look up at his numbers.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I'll do
Good
that.
numbers at
Let
centre
me
back.
bring it up. I'll bring it up next week. We'll save it. Ronald Koeman's career.
sick.
I'll bring it up.
Okay. Nice one. But yeah, that was another great question. Thank you very much. I don't know where you get these from or where you think about them, but they're sick. Hopefully we can we'll get it on like TikTok. We'll get a poll going again and get people talking and get people's ideas and thoughts on it. That would be great. But again, thank you for joining me for another episode of Top CincoPod. Don't forget to like, follow, share, subscribe, and that literally is at Top CincoPod on X. That is on TikTok and that is on YouTube as well. Literally the same at Top CincoPod. Jimmy, do you want to sign off with your signature? Signature crud.
Yeah, no, fair.
Sorry,
Just
I was lost for words. I don't know why I got so lost there.
Just promote my pages again at Manzano Media on Instagram, at Jimmy Manzano on TikTok. Another good episode. We'll see you all next time.
Next week, we're going to go again. Hopefully, we're going to have another special guest on the show. I'm not sure if it's going to be Kieran Rabbit again. We did enjoy having him on there. He had some great shit to talk about. Or there may be someone new. But make sure you're tuning in. And like I said, follow us on all of those pages at Top CincoPod. Love to you all and have a good evening.